Hey Parker, it's March 30th, 2015. It's a Monday. So I took you up on your challenge to write anything just to write. I will not be sharing with you, but I will tell you a little bit about what I wrote. I wrote some fanfiction surrounding some of the characters from one of my favorite comics, which is the True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys by Gerard Way. As you know, I'm a big band nerd, and one of those big bands I'm obsessed with is My Chemical Romance. So this is a companion comic to one of My Chemical Romance's albums, Danger Days. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but I love it. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. I want to get the spider from it tattooed somewhere on my body at some point in time because that's one of my all-time favorite albums. I really don't read a lot of graphic novels or comics. I read some manga, so I'm not well versed in comics. So again, a little bit about the fanfiction. It was approximately 5,000 words. And it is set before the comic in the era of Danger Days, which is what the album is about. So I don't think I've mentioned it, but I'm a very avid fanfiction reader and writer. I love fanfic. I love writing fanfic. I don't share fanfic usually with people I know. But I very much appreciate the challenge because I love writing, but I don't write a lot. I always find ways to procrastinate writing and to put it off. Fanfiction is one of those really weird, nerd things. If you tried to explain fanfiction to someone who isn't, a nerd or a geek, I think they just don't get it. I've had friends who weren't big into geek culture or nerd culture, and they just didn't get it. But fanfic is becoming extremely in mainstream media. Just the other day, I was watching Parks and Rec, and one of the characters, Ben Wyatt, mentioned he writes Star Trek fanfic, which that was strange to hear, but I love fanfic. We have books and movies coming from fanfics. I know you've heard of 50 Shades of Grey fanfic. One of the reasons I don't like 50 Shades of Grey being I feel like the characters it's basically Edward and Bella with different names. And then again, there's a lot of fanfic that I'd pay money to read. And one of the reasons fanfiction is so appealing to people who don't write their own original fiction is that you don't really have to worry about creating characters. You can worry about doing plot all you want, but one of the hardest things in the world for me is creating characters. I'm just not good at it. There's some things that everyone needs to work on different things as a writer. As for your comments on scarification, my parents were to raise me to think that they're pretty good parents. I'll give them that. And my dad says, I've spent too much time on the internet looking at this stuff and just becoming attached to it, and now I see the beauty in it. But back to the fanfiction. The longest fanfiction I've written, it's now at 25,000 words. I have not published it anywhere on the internet. It is a band fic, which is a real person fic, which, in case you didn't know, is you take celebrities or real people and you put them in a fanfiction. This is a moral gray area for a lot of people. I'm usually okay with it. For me, it's okay if the people have said it's okay. In the case of many, web people, my lovely Achievement Hunter poster right over here, and actually with Daft Punk too. They understand that people don't really ship them, they ship what we perceive to be them. I don't know, I'm still on the fence about real people in fanfiction. I have not 100% formulated an opinion on it. But I do recommend this comic if you like comics and dystopian societies and totalitarian governments. The only thing I wish would happen would be if Gerard Way wrote a comic prequel to this talking about the girl and her time with the Killjoys, who, as the title somehow states, the true lives of the fabulous Killjoys. The fabulous Killjoys are hardly in the comic, and that makes me so sad because I want to know more about them and I love them. This is my book recommendation. As you know, I probably have about 1 million book recommendations. If you have any good comic recommendations, tell me, because I want to get into comics, but I don't know where to begin. I'm considering reading Miss Marvel. If you've ever read that, I think I read the first 5 pages of it because a friend had it, and I was like, oh, I've read about this on Tumblr, so tell me what you think. We'll see if I share that fanfic at some point, or the other fanfics I've written. So Parker, I will see you tomorrow. DFTBA?